All right, we are back with another Pick'em video. It is Wednesday, February 4th in the NBA. We have a 7-game slate. There was a whole bunch of trades yesterday. You would think yesterday was the trade deadline, but I still got some plays that I'm liking, and that's what I'm going to run with you guys today. So if that sounds cool, go ahead and leave the video a like, comment something down below, subscribe if you are new. All those good things help YouTube push this video out a little bit more. Let's hop in the recap of yesterday's video picks first, so then we can talk about the plays for today. And it was a disgusting day. And before anyone clicks off, I just want to remind everyone, we were crushing this in January, up 17.22 units in January alone. So again, if you're new around here, stick around. I got to explain my losses, and at least I go over them. I'm not very transparent one over here, and I think I'm one of the most transparent people on YouTube. But let's talk about these losses. Some of them bad reads, some of them just, guys didn't do their job. Anthony Black over 14.5 points and 1.5 threes. These are 0.5 units for both of them, so 1 unit total on him. He just couldn't hit a shot. He shot 16 times. He shot 6 threes. The volume is absolutely there to get there. Huge blowout situation against the Thunder. There was a bunch of question marks. The Magic's just not playing well, especially without Franz Wagner. I think he is their best player. I know Paolo's got the headlines and everything. I think Franz is their best player, at least winning player, and they get crushed. Anthony Black just, again, I don't mind this read at all. He just couldn't put the ball in the basket. Queta was a bad read. He shot 6 times. He had 8 points, was not really involved in the offense. This is a plus 105 play, but he had a great matchup to do so. And sometimes, maybe that's something I need to do better. You can't really go to these unpredictable guys. His hit rate was great. He played the minutes to get here. He just wasn't involved. And again, we talked about that inside matchup. Well, Jaylen Brown gets the inside all the time. He was getting the basket after basket. And I got to remember that for like a guy like Queta, he's a little bit unreliable. And when the Celtics traded for Vucevic, I was like, oh, great. Queta's going to go out there. No Simons. He might get a tiny bit of boost of minutes. But Queta's also like, dang, I want to play more minutes. I don't want Vucevic to come in here and take all my minutes. And I thought that'd light a fire in him. But instead, maybe he looked a little scared and timid out there. Again, not the shots to get there. Bad read overall. And then Luka Doncic assists. Horrible read. Only 0.5 units, plus 145. He had like 5 assists. So that didn't get there. The thing is, I talked about a bunch of leans at the end of this video as well, and they literally almost all cashed. I went and watched my video again and just jotted down every player I talked about in the injury report and being like, yep, this is the guy I want to look at, essentially my leans. 7 of those were correct. 2 of them were incorrect. And one of those was Luka Doncic under his points line, which was at 32.5. He had like 24 points in a blowout. So unfortunate day. Again, we're on a back-to-back 2 bad days in a row, and we had been crushing it before that. So we were due for a little bit of regression here. I'm not going to win every single day. And when I do lose, I come in here and I own them, just like always. So let's hop into the video picks for today. Again, ton of trades, and I think that gives us angles. I think the books have to adjust the lines, and I think we can find some gems in there because of the injury news and guys being questionable to make their debuts, and trades shake things up and guys get extra minutes and things like that. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So let's start with the first one. And we're going to start with Cam Spencer of the Memphis Grizzlies. If you don't know, the NBA had a bunch of trades yesterday, and the first trade was Jaren Jackson Jr. getting traded away from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Utah Jazz, and that trade was centered around 3 first-round picks. So the Grizzlies really didn't get much in terms of good players back. First of all, I don't even know if they would suit up anyway. Second of all, some of them are injured, and so essentially the Memphis Grizzlies don't have a lot of guys available today. You can see the injury report for this team. They got Georges Niang, they got Clayton Jr. They don't have guys that are going to be able to play today. Santi Aldama is a question mark here too. And Ty Jerome just came back from like a 4-month injury, 5-month injury, and he's projected for around 20 minutes. He's only gotten 20 minutes in those games, so he can't play that much, which means we're going to get a lot of minutes from a guy like Cam Spencer. And honestly, a lot of these other guys too are going to get a huge boost in minutes. Something happened like this yesterday. The Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies made the trade. The Jazz played yesterday, so they had to go in and be like, okay, we definitely don't have the guys we just traded for. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not making his debut. So we saw guys get a ton of minutes. Isaiah Collier, which, by the way, I don't even think I mentioned Isaiah Collier in the recap. Isaiah Collier, over his points and assists, he played all 48 minutes in that game. He had 22 assists, and he had 17 points. He absolutely dominated this line. I don't know why I just brushed over the one win we had yesterday. But we could see something like that. We could get a lot of minutes from these Memphis Grizzlies players, which is the main angle here. So now let's talk about Cam Spencer and this matchup. Honestly, the matchup doesn't even really matter to me, but it's the Kings. They have a horrible defensive rating. They allowed the 23rd most assists in the league, or the 7th most or 8th most assists in the league. They have a bad, they allow a lot of assists is what that number means. And he's projected for 29 minutes in this game. So if he's going to get 25 plus minutes, that's when you start to see this hit rate go up. Ty Jerome, again, is the guy that's going to be handling the ball a lot of times when he's on the court. But Cam Spencer is going to get every minute after that, and they might share the court a little bit. And Ty Jerome, definitely a high usage player, high usage scorer. But Cam Spencer's a dimer. Look at this guy. This guy can get double digits assists, and this is absolutely one that I'm laddering up, especially at the 5.5 price tag. We're getting a plus 100 right off the bat. So I like this spot. This is just 25 plus minutes. Again, he could get more than that. 28 plus minutes. How about an 85% hit rate, averaging 8.3 assists? So this is my favorite play of the day. I wanted to start with it again. I like these angles we get at the trade deadline because books have to adjust and they don't have any, numbers or history to base it off of. They got all this stuff, but I'm seeing some high upside for Cam Spencer, and I'm really excited about this play. Another guy, Vince Williams, would be the guy that would come in and take some of Cam Spencer's minutes. Some of these games, 25 minutes, 25 minutes, 24 minutes, 21 minutes, 18 minutes. He's not even here anymore. He got traded. So he's going to get a lot of run, I would expect. They can't run Ty Jerome into the ground. He's coming off a big injury, and he's going to be the main facilitator of this team. I love this play, and I wanted to start off with it. The next guy I'm looking at here is going to be Gigi Jackson. It's on the same team. Memphis Grizzlies, I just think, have a lot of value today. And you look back at the projected minutes, Gigi Jackson projected for 31 minutes in this game, and I think he's the tallest guy in the court. I mean, I'm looking at players. Santi Aldama, he's 6'11" or something. He's questionable. He's been hurt. He's missed the last 4 games. I think he's missed like 7 of the last 8 games as well. He's been in and out of the lineup. So we'll see if he plays. Maybe they're like, dude, can you please play if you're feeling okay? We don't have any players. But if Santi Aldama doesn't play, I think Gigi Jackson's 6'9", and he's the tallest guy on the court for this team. So that's going to mean he's going to need a lot of minutes. They don't have Jaren Jackson Jr. anymore. We can see the games, again, projected for 31 minutes. Hasn't played more than 30 this entire year. 24 plus minutes, he's over in 3 of 5 games. 25 plus minutes, he's over in 3 of 4 games. And again, you could see even more minutes than that today. So I like the spot. Again, it's the Kings. This is a 1.5 point spread. Hopefully you get a close game. And we might get a lot of these Memphis Grizzlies players just playing a lot of time that they haven't seen. So we don't have too much data to go off of. But Gigi Jackson in 25 to 30 minutes, he could see more than that today. Pretty dang good spot. And within 10 feet, they rank 30th in terms of scoring here. So I like Gigi Jackson. I maybe want to look at his rebounds too, just because he's going to be the tallest guy in the court. The hit rate's not there for me, though, so I maybe don't want to see that as much. But yeah, Gigi Jackson, 25 to 30 minutes, pretty dang good. Last year I'd want to see. He's also over in 2 or 3 games last year. So 13.5 just seems a little bit too low to me, especially if Santi Aldama gets ruled out. But even if not, he's going to get the time in the court. So this Grizzlies team, I don't want to have too much stake in it. I really like the Cam Spencer play. But I'm also really liking Gigi to just get some points here. Someone's got to score. Next time we're looking at is going to be in a different game, and it's going to be Wolves Raptors. This is a 2-point spread. I honestly favor the Wolves in this one a little bit. They are the favorites, but I would take the money line, probably like minus 130 right now. But I'm going RJ Barrett to score some points. 16.5 points, minus 118 on BetMGM. And he came back from injury. He did miss some time here in this January 9th to January 23rd. So he's got some games in here with only a couple, not a couple minutes, but like 21, 24 minutes. Now he's been getting back up into the 30s of minutes, 28 minutes in this last one. So I would expect him to be, 6 games in, back from injury. He'll probably be back to that minutes that we were seeing earlier in the year. He can get 30 plus minutes in a lot of these games. And he's one of their top scorers anyway. So I'm going to take away those games that you see in less than 25 minutes or so. Then the assist rate starts to go up. 70% of games, he's over this and getting a lot of minutes. The next thing I'll point to is he plays really well along with all his players. He's definitely a team player. Played with Zion in college, if you remember. And he just seems like a dude that is a plug-and-play kind of guy and just does his job. Doesn't need the spotlight, but it can absolutely put the ball in the basket. And we'll talk about the matchup here in a second. But he's playing with Brandon Ingram. He's going to be with Scotty Barnes. He's got Quickly. He's got Sandro, Kurt Murray Boyles. All these guys are active, and the hit rate just honestly goes up with all these guys in the lineup. So I don't mind this spot. It should be a close game. Hopefully no blowout. There was a ton of blowouts in the NBA yesterday. I forgot to mention that too. Ton of blowouts. But yeah, 73% hit rate with all these guys in the lineup. 16.5 just seems a little bit too low. Now, is it a good defense? Sure, they're ranked 9th in terms of defensive rating, but pretty good spot for him to get some points in transition. The way he scores his points is, transition, spot up. They very much limit that, so that's something that could deter him a little bit, but he can get to the free throw line. He can be that pick and roll ball handler. Every other way he scores other than spot up situations, this is a pretty good spot for him to knock down some shots. And it's not like he shoots a ton of threes, 25%. Looks like 30 or so percent of shots come from behind the arc. They're going to allow some threes. If you can knock him down, great. But he can do some work in the down low spots here too. So I'm liking this spot. There's some injury news too to this Memphis team. Let's go over their team. Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, both questionable. They were questionable last game. Potentially one of these guys sit in some of these games upcoming. But if they don't, it doesn't matter to me too much if they play or not. But if they do sit, if Anthony Edwards isn't out there, that's just one less good defender they can throw in a guy like RJ Barrett. But I like the spot. Obviously, the hit rate's great. It makes a whole lot of sense for me to him to score some points. And then you can see similar guys that play like him, like Jaren Jackson Jr. I guess he plays similarly. The player type analysis, they get their shots very similar ways. Jalen Johnson, a lot of these guys going over against this team. And then positionally, it's not going to look as well, but the last few guys, these are all Grizzlies players, have pretty dang good games against this team. And again, the Grizzlies won that game against the Tennessee Titans, I almost said, the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, liking the spot for RJ. He's a good guard and a pretty good spot for him to run up and down the court and get some buckets. So, liking the spot for RJ. Everyone pretty much healthy for this team except for Pirtle. And without Pirtle and all these guys, how about 7-9? RJ also has a 20.5 points and assist line, and it's an 80% hit rate with all these guys in the lineup getting 25 or 26 plus minutes. So that could absolutely be another move you could go to. His points at 16.5 or his points and assists at 20.5. Either one, I'll probably end up playing 0.5 units on both, to be totally honest. Next guy I'm liking is Sam Merrill to knock down some threes. Now you can take it at 2.5, but it's pretty juiced. I'm taking this at 3.5. The price I got was plus 147 on DraftKings. So pretty good, price tag here for Sam Merrill to knock down some threes. And we know this dude can knock down a whole bunch of them when he gets the time in the court. So now let's talk about the Cavs and what they've done the past few days, because they just made some couple big trades. Yesterday, they traded Darius Garland for James Harden. Now, I thought, they made this trade with the Clippers. I thought James Harden might come in there and play right off the bat. As of right now, RotoWire had this as doubtful a second ago, and it just updated to out. So maybe that means he is probably not going to play. I want to see if I just got any news. No, but as of right now, RotoWire is saying he's out, which is a good thing for Sam Merrill. The next thing you want to point to is Dennis Schroeder was another guy that they traded for a few days ago. He's in there projected for 22 minutes, and even with that, Sam Merrill projected for 27 minutes, which is great to see. So I'm going to boost Sam Merrill's minutes up here to, sometimes he doesn't get a ton of minutes. I'm going to say he's going to get 24. I'm going to go 3 minutes on each side, 24 to 30 minutes. He's over the 2.5 line 50% of games. He's over this is the 3.5 line. He's over the 3.5 line in 50% of the games. And again, if you want it as a parlay piece, he's over the 2.5 in 66.7% of games. I'm taking the plus money at 3.5 because this is also a great matchup. So Sam Merrill getting a boost in minutes because of the injuries. There's no Mobley in this one either. Obviously, Garland is not around anymore. It looks like James Harden won't make his debut. But he's also got a great matchup to knock down threes. Above the break threes, it's 70% of his shots in games anyway. They rank 26 there. And how does he get threes? Well, he can get catch and shoot spots or pull-ups. They're weak to both of these defensive schemes. 26th ranked in pull-ups, 21st ranked in catch and shoot. And a lot of players, just by position, guards, going over the three-point line a whole bunch. Maxey just had 7 against this team. Gillespie had 4 against this team on 10 attempts. So the attempts are up against the Clippers, and the three-pointers made, obviously, in turn, are going to be up against the Clippers. So really liking this spot. I'd expect him to get, he was averaging in this much time, 7.5 three-pointers, but without Garland, looks like almost 8 three-pointers. So I'm actually going to go in there and say he's going to see 6 to, let's say, 10 three-pointers. And now we're seeing like a 53% hit rate on a line. We're getting a plus 147 or whatever it was. So I like Sam Merrill to knock down some threes. He can have some duds. Here's a 1 for 6 shooting night. 3 for 6, that would be okay. That'd be one that I'm like, dang, I wish he shot a few more. If he shoots 6 threes, I'd be, not as happy with this read at all. If he gets 7 threes, like now it turns into a 70% hit rate. So I think the shots will be there. I think he's going to get extra time in the court. This Cavs team just, again, made a bunch of trades, and there should be space for him to get the open spots. Dennis Schroeder hopefully doesn't come in and play 30-plus minutes and take away Sam Merrill's time, but I don't expect that, and they don't expect that either. 22 projected minutes for him. So I'm liking the spot for Sam Merrill. I think we're getting a great price tag in the 3.5 threes. Plus 147 is the play. And after recording all that about Sam Merrill, I'm going to keep it in the video, but I might end up 0.5 unit playing him and also going to Donovan Mitchell's threes, because James Harden, it says he's out on RotoWire, but a lot of the teams just submitted their injury reports like just right now. And Cleveland has Mobley out and Strus out and doesn't mention James Harden, whereas the Clippers mention Darius Garland's out in this game. It doesn't even mention that James Harden's questionable in this game. So maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't play. So but again, I just wanted to point out Donovan Mitchell would be the guy that I look at for some threes as well. Get the best price tag, which is plus 112 on DraftKings, because with Harden in the lineup, I don't, James might even work better for Donovan Mitchell to knock down some threes. It's still a great matchup to knock down some threes here. He had 5 threes against this team earlier in the year, and he played 37 minutes and had like 37 points in that game. So I'm going to play 0.5 units on both of them. They're both still plus money. But Sam Merrill, it would be great if James Harden didn't play. But I don't honestly know if he's playing or not. So if James Harden does play, I think that might cut into Sam Merrill's minutes a little bit. Next guy I'm looking at is going to be Neemias Queta of the Boston Celtics. This time I'm looking under. If you remember yesterday, we went to his over, and he didn't get there in a great matchup. Now he gets the Rockets, great interior defense. 77% of Queta's shots come right in the restricted area. They rank 7th overall. Now, they don't have Steven Adams. They're not as big down there, but still a pretty good defensive team overall. And this is also a back-to-back for the Celtics, and they potentially get Vucevic starting today or playing today. Again, I don't know. They haven't done an injury report just yet, but potentially Vucevic comes in there and plays. And if they do play, RotoWire's gone for 30 projected minutes, as Queta is projected for 20 minutes. Now, it's a back-to-back. He doesn't play many minutes of back-to-backs anyway. He loses about 4 minutes in back-to-back sets already. So that's good, and he's only over in 2 of 7 games. But even just looking at the entire season, Queta's only over this in 36% of games. Now you get a really difficult matchup to score inside. Restricted area defense, challenging. How about only over in 23% of games? So there's a bunch of good things that go into this play. Again, it's a challenging defense overall. He doesn't hit this already. The hit rate looks great already. Vucevic could play into his minutes a little bit, and also back-to-back situation doesn't play as many minutes anyway. So that's 4 good reasons to attack this under, and he sold us yesterday, so that's a 5th good reason. So Queta, I love the dude. He's on my team, but got to fade him at 10.5, and again, we just went to his over, and he failed us. So I'm going under, minus 120. 10.5 points for Queta. So I'm going to run through the entire slate and talk about the injury news and obviously the trade implications and what that's going to look like, project minutes and all that stuff. But if you got to this point in the video, if you could do me a favor, like the video, comment something down below. It does push the algorithm to say, hey, people like this guy's videos. So I appreciate anyone that does that. And while I'm talking about this little break, let's talk about Pickett. If you guys are not on Pickett, you might as well check it out. When you use code RichPicks when signing up, you get $3 or $100 just by syncing your first sports book. Pickett is totally free for you guys to use. It's in the App Store. It has a great app. It looks great. Good interface. But you want to know if you're winning or losing your plays, all you do, you sign up for Pickett using my code RichPicks. You get that $3 or $100 just by syncing that first sports book, whether it's DraftKings, FanDuel, PrizePicks, Underdog, whatever it might be. They sync to pretty much every sports book out there. And then you just go in there and you can see, hey, did I win yesterday? Did I lose yesterday? Have I won the past week, the past month, the past year, all time? What sports am I better in? What sports am I bad in? You can change your strategy up, whatever it might be. You want to know if you're winning or losing, and Pickett is the best way to do that. So sign up to Pickett, use my code RichPicks, link in the description down below as well. So let's jump over to RotoWire here and start breaking down this slate. I'm going to refresh the page because things are probably changing every single minute. And again, we got a 7-game slate, and we got a bunch of trade news. We got a bunch of injury news. I'm not going to know everything, but I can give you my input on what I might think happened, or what will happen in projected minutes and things like that. So we got the Denver Nuggets and the New York Knicks. 7-point favorites are the Knicks at home. No Aaron Gordon in this game, probably no Cam Johnson as well. He's been out for a while. So what are we going to expect here? Well, Nikola Jokic's minutes have started to come back up. Jamal Murray and Peyton Watson have continued to get a lot of minutes. I believe this team is on a back-to-back. I should probably mention that right off the bat. Yes, the Nuggets are on a back-to-back, so hey, potentially Jokic pops up on the injury report. So just keep that in mind. The New York Knicks are also on a back-to-back here. So here are the 5 teams that are on a back-to-back today. So anyone could pop up on the injury report later on in the day. Just keep that in mind. So, hey, Jokic coming back from injury, he might pop on the injury report. Honestly, Peyton Watson would be the guy that I look at as getting a pretty good beneficial boost there. Watson been playing really well. He's played himself into more minutes throughout the entire season. He plays pretty well with Jokic, but without Jokic, he just has more usage and more opportunities there. Now, the New York Knicks are also on a back-to-back here, so someone could change, pop up in the injury report or whatever it might be. As of right now, a bunch of question marks are going to be Miles McBride, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson is probable right now. Did he play yesterday? I'd like to see that real quick, because if Mitchell Robinson is probable, I don't think he typically plays back-to-backs. He did not play yesterday, so that's why he's probable for this one. Sat the first half. So Mitchell Robinson probably going to be in there, which in turn means maybe a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns' rebounds line is a little bit too high. I honestly was looking at the under potential for Towns' rebounds. Now we got Minnesota and Toronto. This is a 2.5-point spread. And again, we talked about the injury news. We talked about RJ Barrett in this game already. Anthony Edwards questionable, Randall questionable. So they got some guys popping up on the injury report. The other guy that's in trade talks right now is Jaden McDaniels. If there was a big swing at Giannis, it's probably going to be centered around a guy like Jaden McDaniels. Dante DiVincenzo, another guy that I looked at as overs because there's no Mike Conley anymore. And they got no players in return for that. So I think they could have got Kobe White from the Bulls. They decided not to. They want to hold out to try to get Giannis at the trade deadline. But yeah, I was looking at Dante DiVincenzo just to get some extra boost, and that's going to help if a guy like Anthony Edwards or Gobert sits as well. Then we got the Toronto side of things. We already talked about this team just because I like RJ Barrett to score some points, get some assists as well. We are going to go over the recap at the end of this video, so just stay tuned for that because we talked about a bunch of different players and going to them in a bunch of different ways as well. But he's the main guy I'm looking at. I just think he's very, very consistent, and he plays team basketball. A lot of these other guys can be hit or miss, like Scotty Barnes. We attacked his assist line the other day, and he barely had any. It was just more of like a team basketball thing. That's why the Raptors are good. They play well together. They got a big lineup of a bunch of like point forward, point guards kind of things. So that's what I'm thinking for the Raptors. RJ is kind of the most consistent guy that I like to go to there. Next game is going to be Houston and Boston. 5.5 point favorites is Houston, Boston on the second leg of a back-to-back, and we might potentially get Vucevic getting his debut here for Boston. We'll see what happens. He absolutely could not play, but I could also see him playing in this game. And excited and ready to go for finally playing for a winning team after a long stretch in Chicago, which could hurt Neemias Queta's minutes. We talked about Queta, but here's the projected minutes as of right now, and this has Vucevic playing 30 minutes. So just keep that in mind. If Vucevic ends up not playing, there's no Anthony Simons, so other guys are going to get boosts around here. But Celtic on a back-to-back, someone would also pop up at the injury report, so just keep that in mind. Houston side of things, we got probable tag for Kevin Durant. So he could be, returning. He missed a few games here. Dorian Finney-Smith continues to be out for this team, but they're home. Amin Thompson's going to get as many minutes as he can handle. Alperen Sengun could definitely, dominate down low, especially Vucevic, not the best defender, but he can stretch him out and pause. He can stretch him, he can stretch the floor a little bit and make Sengun a little bit uncomfortable, knocking down some threes or at least shooting a whole bunch. Jamari Smith Jr. was the guy I was looking at. Actually, Torrey Eason was the guy that I was looking at to get some scoring today, maybe even some rebounds. But yeah, this could be a good spot to look. Just a fun game to bet on just because it's two good teams going at it. I'm saying some crazy stuff for this one. Let's move on. Pelicans in Milwaukee. Again, ton of injury news, but Giannis is the big one. We might get Kevin Porter Jr. back, which would be a big thing for them. He's a high usage player. I don't know how many minutes he would get. But Giannis, he could be on his way out the door in the next few days. Trade deadline is tomorrow, but we saw a whole bunch of trades happen yesterday. So trade can happen at any moment. I don't know if Giannis will get traded at the deadline or next offseason, but he's pretty much out of Milwaukee. We'll see what happens there. Bobby Portis questionable too. He was a guy that we attacked yesterday. I don't even know if I mentioned that either. Bobby Portis is double-double. He didn't end up playing. So I expect him to play here today. The Bucks are one of those teams on a back-to-back. Maybe he just sat the first half of the back-to-back so he could play against the Pelicans. And again, he'd be in a pretty good spot if he does go out there and play to get some points and to get some rebounds. Then again, if Kevin Porter Jr. comes back, looks like he's expected for 20 or so minutes. That's what we've seen from a lot of guys that have missed some time. They come back and they play like 20 or so minutes, but that will hurt, Ryan Rollins a little bit, who has been a very, very high usage player. AJ Green to knock down some threes was also something I was looking at for today. I didn't even mention the Pelicans side of things. This is a 4.5 point spread in favor of the Pelicans. Sadiq Bey, again, he's a bucket, absolutely. Herb Jones, a guy that's in trade talks. I'd be surprised if the Pelicans do nothing at the trade deadline. And then Derek Queen kind of establishes himself over Yves Missi to get more and more minutes. They were splitting minutes for a little bit. It looks like Derek Queen out there to get a whole bunch of time. Zion, probably in a pretty good spot to dominate down low too. Miles Turner, pretty good defender, but Zion's got some bulk to him. OKC and the Spurs, we love to see this matchup. 1.5 point favorites are the Spurs. I believe the Thunder, the other team, the last team on a back-to-back. So more guys could pop up the injury report. There was a bunch of guys in the injury report yesterday. As of right now, pretty much no one in the injury report other than J-Dub. So they should be healthy and ready to go. This is one that got circled on their calendar. The Spurs have had their number all season. They've played 4 times, so this will be their 5th meeting. So really fun game to watch again. I'm really excited for the Celtics-Houston game. Very excited for this OKC-Spurs game. So it should be a fun one. Castle's played really well against this Thunder defense. He's been kind of the guy that stands out, but he is questionable here. But he'd be the guy I look at just because he's been so consistent against this team. Memphis and the Sacramento Kings. Now, we talked about the Memphis Grizzlies a whole bunch because look at this injury report. There's going to be not too many guys getting minutes. Ty Jerome, high usage player. His lines did jump up a decent amount, and he's due for like a bad shooting night here and there. So I'm not going to Ty Jerome, but we did attack Gigi Jackson to score some points. We did attack Cam Spencer to pretty much run the offense, get a whole bunch of assists. I went to a 7.5 assists as well as his 5.5. You'll see that in the recap. But a lot of guys here potentially getting a huge boost in minutes, and that's in turn going to be more points. And a lot of these guys we haven't seen play that many minutes in a while. So again, those are the two guys I attacked. I don't want to have too much stake in this game, but I really like Gigi Jackson and I like Cam Spencer to dime up today. Sacramento side of things, we'll see if Sabonis plays. Here's the projected minutes for them. A lot of guys playing minutes off the bench. DeMar, Zach LaVine, Russell Westbrook. I mean, this team's just horrible. 12-39. I don't really have any thoughts against them, but they are favorites in this one. They might actually win a game. And if Sabonis plays a whole bunch of time, he should be able to rebound like a madman against this team. They literally might have Santi Aldama in there, but if they don't, Gigi Jackson, I'm pretty sure, is the tallest guy in the court. So Sabonis might have like 55 rebounds if he actually plays and plays like 30 or so minutes. And the final game is the Cavs versus the Clippers. Again, weird one just because these guys just made a pretty big trade. Garland's been injured. He's not going to play. And RotoWire's, they're dead set on James Harden not playing. I just saw the injury report. He was not on it. So I don't know if Harden's playing or not. But I like Sam Merrill to go over his 11.5 points. I like Sam Merrill to knock down 4 plus threes. I attacked to 3.5 threes. If Harden plays, though, that kind of messes up my plans. Sam Merrill could still get there. Harden can get some guys involved, but that's why I'm also playing Donovan Mitchell. So I'm 0.5 units bolting these guys. You'll see in the recap, but I think both of them are in a pretty good spot to knock down threes against the Clippers, and that's what I got going on. Jared Allen, another guy I was looking at for his points today. He's been scoring well. He's been rebounding well. I don't have too much stake in the Cavaliers, but Jared Allen maybe turned a page yesterday, or not yesterday, the last few games. He's had some big games recently, and again, no Mobley still for this team. Then the Clippers side of things, no Darius Garland, no Chris Paul. I don't know why Chris Paul's even still on the roster, but Zubac, Kawhi I was looking at for his PRA. I think it was at 37.5. He could have a big game today. John Collins going to get more time in the court without a guy like Harden. He's a guy I bet on earlier last night. His lines have probably moved at this point, but I believe I got his points line, 14.5 points or something like that. But I attacked John Collins in some sort of way. But this is what we got going on for the minutes projections for them. I'm losing my voice here, but luckily that's the last game, and I can get you guys out of here. But let's do the recap first. We got a lot to go over because we attacked, I think, 5 players once again, but we're going to a couple guys in different ways. We'll start with Cam Spencer over his 5.5 assists plus 100 on BetMGM. I'm throwing a full unit on that thing because I love this play, but I'm also laddering up to 7.5 assists, so 8 plus assists plus 283 on DraftKings for a quarter unit there. So I got 1.25 units on Cam Spencer. Really loving this play, and I think he could dime up today. I also got Gigi Jackson in this game. So I got 2.25 units on Memphis Grizzlies. I think they have the best edge today. They should get a whole bunch of minutes, and that's the way I'm playing that. Gigi Jackson over his 13.5 points. Then we got RJ Barrett. I'm taking the 16.5 points at minus 118. I'm taking his points and assist line, which is a 20.5 for minus 115. I just got 0.5 units on that. So essentially it's the same line almost. But if he, gets one or the other, we'll have a break-even day. I assume he gets, both or neither. So just 1 unit on RJ Barrett, just 2 different ways. Sam Merrill threes, again, I've dropped it down to 0.5 units. This is a plus 147, but also I don't know what's happening with James Harden, if he's going to play or not. But I do like also Donovan Mitchell knocked down threes as well. Plus 112 is the price tag. So both 1 unit plays. If one of these guys hits, we're going to profit regardless. If they both hit, we're going right to the bank. Neemias Queta points under 10.5. We talked about all the different reasons why I like this one. So that's why it's a 1 unit play. So 5.25 units on a 7-game slate. We attacked 5 guys. Again, it looks like more than that, or maybe 6 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 guys. So a lot of plays I'm really liking, and I'll be posting more in my Discord all throughout the day. Trade deadline, one of my favorite times of the year. Just see all the trades and also just be able to predict, what's going to happen after those trades. It makes me analyze a little bit harder, and I enjoy that a lot. So I'll see you guys in the next one. That will do it for me. Thank you guys for watching like always. Enjoy the games. We got some good ones today. Again, Boston, Houston should be a lot of fun. Clippers, Cavs could be fun just because maybe it gets chippy or they just made a big trade. So we'll see what happens there. If James Harden makes his debut, that would be cool. Maybe not for Sam Merrill's line, but could be fun to watch. And then, of course, the Thunder and the Spurs, round 5. So we've seen these guys play a whole bunch, and they probably don't like each other much. They could see each other in the playoffs too. So thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. comment something down below, all those good things. Check out Pickett, check out Props Madness, both those links in the description down below. And check out Betr. I'll just shout out Betr. You get some bonus cash when you sign up using my code. So all the links in the description down below for that. And you should read it because there's a plenty of bonus cash and deposit matches that you can get using my code. And anytime you use my code, if you comment something down below like, hey, I used your code, I usually extend out to you and say, hey, I'll give you a free month just to kind of give it back to you of my Discord community. So thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Peace out.